to write a new economic playbook, and I mean this sincerely, a new economic playbook, from build the economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not from the top down. My dad used to have an expression. He said, you know, Joey, when you talk about trickle-down economics, not a whole hell of a lot trickles down on our kitchen table. Well, when we do that, the poor have a ladder up, the middle class do well, and the wealthy still be able to do very well. And we all do well. It's a playbook based on a value set that my dad taught me. He used to say, and I mean this sincerely, Joey, your job's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about your place in the community. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay, and mean it, and mean it. It matters. And not everyone has felt the progress because it takes time. We've emerged from a crisis. We have the strongest economy in the world, much more to do. Working families and the middle class are the center of a strong, equitable, and sustainable recovery. And the big reason why is that I call the Investing in America agenda. You know, it's a page from our economic playbook that invests in all of America and all Americans, creating pathways for millions of good-paying jobs being created in our economy. You know, the key pieces of the Investing in America include historic laws that I've signed, the historic investments in modernizing our roads and bridges, our ports, airports, public transit. We're replacing poisonous lead pipes. We're delivering clean water to every American. It's take time. But it's the beginning. It's real. It's there. We're delivering affordable high-speed internet and so much more. Roosevelt talked about the need to electrify America during that history. Well, how can you have access to being able to participate in everything? In fact, you don't have access to affordable internet. You don't have access to, anyway, don't get me going. But look, we're also making sure that the supply chain, I don't think Americans heard much about supply chain before we came to office. But the supply chain starts in America. We can no longer, for the longest time, corporate America decided to export the jobs because they're cheaper labor and import the product. Well, not us. We've changed that dynamic. For example, semiconductors, those little computer chips small on the tip of my little finger. You know, they power everything from our smartphones to automobiles to weapon systems. America invented those chips. We in the United States invented them. We modernized them. We did all the work on it. But we stopped making them. We used to have over 40% of the market, and we got down to virtually none of it. But not anymore. Today, we're making once-in-a-generation investments in American science and innovation that are building chip factories all across America. And they're going to be creating tens of thousands of good-paying jobs. And that's not hyperbole, but it takes time to build them. The one thing I was all excited about how much we've invested, how much is coming, but it's taking time. You have to build those so-called fabs. These quote fabs, these factories to build these things, are as big as football fields. And guess what? They pay about an average of $105,000 a year. You don't need a college degree to get there. And that doesn't even count the tens of billions of dollars being spent to build these facilities and attract other businesses. And I signed the most significant climate law ever in American history, but in the history of the world. The Congress will tell you, we were told we couldn't get it done, but we got it done. We got it done. And it's leading us into a clean energy future with even more good-paying clean energy jobs than American workers. As a result of these laws and other things we've done, I won't take all your time, but the key actions, the end result is we've created, in the almost 4 years we've been here, we've created 16 million new jobs, brand new jobs, since I took office. The most in any single U.S. presidential term. Inflation is at 2.6%, close to the pre-pandemic rate. Unemployment is down to 4.1%, longest stretch for a long, long time that low. Despite the critics saying we had to lower our ambitions to get the economy going, we've attracted off the sidelines from private enterprise over $1 trillion in private investment in clean energy and manufacturing that are creating good-paying jobs and building factories here in America where they belong. And all this historic investment is happening in every part of the country. You know, remember my call saying I'm a president for all Americans, no matter who they voted for. Well, keeping that commitment, the majority of the investments are actually in red states, not blue states, because they got hurt the most by the policies early on. All those factories shutting down. How many times did you come from places where you had mom and my grandpapa and grandmom worked in that factory? My mom and dad worked there. But I got to move, Mom, because there's no job. The factory's gone. I got hurt very badly. It takes away the soul of community. We're making sure these Americans have access to good-paying jobs that are being created. Buy America has been the law of the land since the 30s, which hardly anybody knew, hardly anybody paid attention to. When Franklin Roosevelt was trying to make it fair for unions to be able to organize so that businesses couldn't just crush them because they started, there was a provision in the law in the early 30s that said, when a president is authorized by Congress to spend money on a project, he has to do two things. He has to use that money to hire American workers, and he has to use American products. Well, this administration, past administrations failed to do that. Like I said, so much was exported overseas. Well, not on my watch. My administration buys American. We're making sure the federal projects we're building, roads, bridges, highways, and more are going to be made with American products, built by American workers, and creating good-paying American jobs. Jobs that don't require a four-year college degree. Jobs you can raise a family on. In fact, my administration is requiring many of these kinds of projects to pay what a union wage called the Davis-Bacon prevailing wage. We're expanding registered apprenticeships, resulting in hiring of more than 1 million apprentices since we've come to office. Remember, business came along and said, we'll do the apprenticeships. Yeah, right. Well, guess what? They're not. A lot of folks don't realize that an apprenticeship is like earning a college degree. You know, you spend up to 4 or 5 years training while you get paid while you're doing it to learn the trade, to lead to a good paying job, like going to school before you can be registered in that particular expertise. They're among the best workers in the world. Today, I'm proud to announce that for the first time ever, the number of women in apprenticeships has reached 100,000. 3 times the number from a decade ago. When I took office, not a single state had a registered apprenticeship program for teachers. Today, 46 states plus Puerto Rico and D.C. have launched registered apprenticeship programs for teachers. Some will say I did that because I feared for my life, but not true. I wanted to do it anyway. I'm also proud to announce that we've committed more than $80 billion towards strengthening and expanding our workforce. As Jill just described, that includes supporting free community college programs so students and workers can train for good jobs without the burden of student debt. It also describes what we launched the workforce hubs, where we collaborate with local leaders, community colleges, unions, local businesses to train and connect Americans to good-paying jobs. And it's good for students and workers. It grows the economy for everyone. I know I'm listed as the most pro-union president in American history. I'm very proud of that. But guess what? Guess what, folks? Businesses now acknowledging that it helps them too. I had Treasury Department do a study. What's the effect of focusing on unions? Everybody's standard of living is raised. Everybody's. We've also really proud to have launched the American Climate Corps, patterned after the Peace Corps and the American Corps, to put tens of thousands of young people on a path to good-paying, clean energy, apprenticeships, and jobs. That's the future. And with the support of the private sector, we're also bringing business into the high schools so younger students can learn about and train for good-paying jobs, including those that don't require 4-year degrees, as Jill pointed out. There's so much more that you'll learn about at today's summit, and many of you bring more information as well. But look, it really matters. Let me close with this. You heard Jill speak about incredible students. Well, joining us today is another American worker who embodies an incredible character that we see all over the country. Maurice Bogart. Maurice, I'm going to ask you to come up here in a second. Father of 2 young children, one of whom I work for. He's going to actually come up. Look, Maurice from Cleveland, Ohio. From the day his children were born, he had a survival mindset to do whatever he could to improve the positive circumstances of his family. 12 to 16-hour days and multiple jobs, even working out of town for months at a time, just to get by. Just it meant fewer hours with his children as well and his family. Last year, his sister, who was also with him today, sis, stand up. Every man like me needs a strong sister, and I have one, thank God. We sent him to a link to about a pre-apprenticeship program where you learn a trade, funded by the American Rescue Plan that I signed into law as soon as I came to office. Well, Maurice signed up, and within hours he had an appointment. He soon started a 4-week training program to connect him with his local IBEW, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. Today, he's on his way to becoming a journeyman electrician, working at the stadium of his hometown baseball team, the Cleveland Guardians.
Yes, sir.
Good paying job with good hours, good benefits, and a lifelong career. And a sense of dignity and pride to be the father he always wanted to be.
Yes, sir.
And it's not just him. Millions of workers and families have more opportunity today than they did 4 years ago in an economy that is growing from the middle out and the bottom up. He can put him down. He can do whatever he wants. All you got to do, look, you can do anything you want, pal. Okay? And if you want to make a speech later, you can, all right? All right. Economy where everybody has a fair shot. We leave nobody behind. Invest in America and all Americans. That's what we've done together by reminding ourselves who we are. For Lord's sake, we're the United States of America. There's nothing. I mean this in front of my heart. There's nothing beyond our capacity when we do it together. And there's no group I'd rather be doing it with than all of you. So God bless you all. May God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Distinguished guests, please remain in your seats as the President and First Lady depart and as we transition the stage for today's panel.